Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the HR Talk Show. As usual, I'm Ray, the host for this show. The topic that I'll be sharing with you guys is about diversity in workplace. Why is it diverse workplace matters? Employers in all sectors of the Malaysian economy are now more than ever focused on attracting and retaining a diverse workforce. It matters a lot to HR as it provides employees with information about why diversity is vital to organizational effectiveness. A proper enhancement of diversity practice and inclusion in the organization important for recruitment challenges and skill shortage, employee satisfaction and retention, and also promoting organizational value more fully. As you can see, two major demographics pressures affecting the Malaysian labor force today include the large number of baby boomers approaching retirement age and also the shortage of young people available to replace them. Non-profit employers consistently report challenges in recruiting the skilled talent they need in their organization. Competition for employees will continue and increase as employers in all sectors are affected by changing labor force demographic. Today we have invited a guest speaker, Ms. Jojo, the officer from the Statistics Department Malaysia, to tell us more on this issue. Hi Jojo.
Hi.
So, can you tell us how the population and labor force participation rate is going on these few years?
According to Statistics Malaysia, labor force participation rate in Malaysia decreased to 67.4% in July 2014 from 67.5% in June 2014. Labor force participation rate in Malaysia averaged 65.39% from 2010 until 2014, reaching an all-time high of 69.6%.
So, basically, the population keep on growing and the labor force participation rate keep on decreasing. How can we tackle this recruitment and shortage skill issue?
There is a wealth of skilled and talented people who are not effectively engaged in the Malaysian workforce. The immigrant workforce, Malaysian-born visible minorities, youth, mature workers, persons with disabilities, and Aboriginal peoples have all been overlooked in the past. Their talents are wasted either by not employing or by underemploying qualified candidates. If non-profits wish to thrive, they need to be able to recruit and retain the talent they need. To do this, they must be equipped with an understanding of how to connect with and support these undervalued groups. Non-profits cannot afford to ignore such a large segment of Malaysian labor force and should look to engage underutilized pools of talent as part of the solution to recruitment challenges and skill shortage.
Thank you so much for sharing this information with us. Next, we will be discussing on employee satisfaction and retention. Our colleague Vicky will be interviewing Ms. Visha, an employee from Company X, whose origin is from India and has been working in Malaysia for 8 years.
Thank you, Ray. I'll be continuing with the employee satisfaction and retention. Satisfied and engaged employees are more effective and productive. These employees are also more likely to stick around. Organizations that don't support and nurture a diverse workplace may be able to recruit diverse talent but will face major challenges when trying to retain it. Here with me is Ms. Visha, originated from India, who has been working in Malaysia for 8 years. Hi Visha.
Hi.
Recent statistics indicates that diverse employees are 3 times more likely to leave an organization than non-diverse worker. Can you explain why this is happening?
The question actually reminds me of a conversation I had once with my colleague. Good morning, Mr. Wong.
Morning.
Today I would like to ask you, what's your opinion of a diverse workforce?
To me, nowadays, because we can use a lot of internet and globalization happens all over the place, diversity in workforce no longer is a physical thing. In the past, a lot of diversity workforce means that they have a mix of culture, mix of races, but nowadays we have a mix of different employees from the country all over the world working through internet or webcams, online conference. So I think it's
So basically you're trying to say online business.
not really on online business, just as a normal HR perspective. Because nowadays HR they need to follow up with a lot of different issues, especially on the diversity things, cultures, even gender. A lot of company they have that different type of employee, not only on their attitude part, personalities, but also from the culture part. So the HR, they need to have a very clear and also a very comprehensive policies to manage them, especially on the races part, because in the Asia context and the Western context is a bit different. In Asia, we are not really so considered on the equalities amongst the gender and also the race.
There are many reasons as to why employees decide to leave the workforce nowadays. Among them maybe they do not feel valued, they do not feel appreciated, they do not feel they have a chance for advancement, and they face a lot of cultural barriers such as non-verbal communication and personal space issues, language barriers. What's your thoughts about that?
I agree on that, but nowadays most of the issues of employee leaving the companies is based on the generation gap. Now the senior management, especially the top management, they are more from the baby boomers, while the mid-level will be the Gen X and the newcomer will be the Gen Y. A lot of issue happens is when the communications of their ideas, their thoughts, and the way they look into the issues is a bit different.
This will create a lot of stereotyping among the generations also. That being like the Generation X is more of a hard worker and they like to do things old school, maybe, as you say, everything in black and white. Whereas maybe our later Generation Y, we more prefer using our like mobile devices or everything in meetings now. It was like unheard of to think about 10 years ago having mobiles or iPads or any electronic things during meetings. Everything was face to face. But now we can do, as you said, web conferences, everything's online internet. So all this is like how technology plays a role in our workforce.
Yes.
Ms. Tisha, do you have anything to add on?
Thank you, Vicky. Thus, building and sustaining a diverse workforce is not the responsibility of one person in an organization, but rather a shared responsibility. Management has to lead by example and make a definite commitment to diversity. Managers need a solid understanding of the various cultures represented on the team to eliminate any stereotypes or preconceptions. Open communication helps team members better understand the unique aspects of various cultures and prompts discussions as how these attributes can be incorporated into the work environment. Boards of directors and senior management teams need to set the tone to ensure that their own behavior aligns with the organization's values and missions. An organization's ability to attract, retain, and support diverse employees also reflects the way an organization is able to approach diversity more broadly with volunteers, members, and a larger community. Thank you.
Back to the studio. In order to enhance the diversity in workplace, HR need to promote organizational value more fully. Non-profits indicates that there is a clear moral imperative to promote, build, and nurture diverse organization. We have randomly selected unemployed candidates to talk about her previous company and tell us why she chose to leave the company. What happened to you at the time that makes you leave the company?
So for the first and second month, I was quite satisfied with my department at the mini club there. Third month, I have transferred to the bar team, and that was so stressful there because when I found some difficult, I asked my colleague to help me. But what they respond is, I feel like they don't want to answer me improperly. They just answer me in few words and then that's all.
Oh, so actually you don't really like them because of they doesn't help you and so on.
Yeah, for the fourth month, I transferred to my previous department, and then what happened is the manager was also changed already. It's a California guy. I think he's quite some, I don't know how to say, but what he did to me is before the last week during there, he said to me, Melanie, can you please put some effort to work because you are still with us. I understand you will be leaving soon in 1 week. But what I understand is when I'm working, he's having his lovely cappuccino at the bar there. When I was not busy, he came to look at me. What can I say? Nothing. That's why I choose to leave.
Oh, I see. So thank you for sharing your information with us.
Yeah, thank you.
It's implicit in the Malaysia value system that all individuals should have the opportunity to achieve their full potential. The non-profit sectors often champion social justice, empowerment, equality, diversity, and social inclusion, working to build a workforce that reflects the community we live and work in. The client we work with and the Malaysian society at large is one of the ways that non-profits can live up and promote these espoused values. This shall conclude our topic for today. Thank you for staying with us and stay tuned for next week, the HR Talk Show.